From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday graced the 56th founding anniversary of the 250th Presidential Airlife Wing, or PAW, at the Villamor Air Base in Pasay City. The Commander-in-Chief led the presentation of awards to the outstanding men, women, and units of the PAW. During the ceremony, the President also received the 250th PAW Operations Handbook, detailing the wing's policies, protocols, and operational standards. The 250th PAW, often referred to as the Bluebirds, is a premier flying unit of the Philippine Air Force, or PAF, responsible for providing air transport to the President, the First Family, visiting heads of state and government, and other local and foreign VIPs. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It's with great pleasure that I am here to celebrate with you the 56th founding anniversary of the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing. The 250th PAW has its roots in the 7001st Detachment, created on September 2, 1968. And since then, the 7001st Detachment evolved first into what was known to me as the 700 Special Mission Wing, under then the command of General Martel. And ito yung unit na talagang we were as members of the First Family that we were only allowed to use was only the 700 Special Mission Wing. And they provided a great service for us and for my father especially. It has now evolved into the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing, which has now served 8 administrations. This milestone demonstrates your dedication to your mandate for more than 5 decades now, and I am fortunate enough to witness this firsthand. Accept my deepest gratitude, not only for ensuring that I am safe in transit, but also for the security, safety that you provide for the First Family and our state guests, past and present. Since we started this administration, we have been on 445 flights. These flights represent all that the Presidency and the Presidential Airlift Wing stand for. The courage to rise above challenges, the precision of movement, the unshakable trust in the craft and the crew to carry us forward, and the level of excellence and professionalism that you always demonstrate. To Brigadier General Loreto Pasamonte and the former wing commanders who are present here today, we thank you for your perseverance in building a strong culture of safety and of excellence. To our pilots, the Bluebirds, the crew, the maintenance, and administrative personnel, thank you once again for the commitment and professionalism that you have shown in every call of duty. You continue to formulate ways so that I, the First Family, and all the presidents and dignitaries of foreign countries can safely reach our destination. You ensure that we remain steadfast, secure, and moving forward even when the winds threaten to pull us back, as evidenced by your 8,416 accident flying hours since the start of this administration. I could not, I will say this outright, I could not do the job that I do if not for the professionalism and the provision of service that the Presidential Airlift Wing provides. If I cannot imagine, pagka merong bagyo, pagka merong krisis, na hindi ko mapuntahan dahil walang eroplano o hindi lumilipad dahil sina-service, whatever, hindi mahina yung maintenance, whatever. For the political things, pagpunta ko sa mga LGU, I simply could not do the job that I need to do without the airlift wing available to me. And that is how important the job is that you do. And that is not only directed towards myself, the First Family, and all our VIP guests. But it is an important part. It is an important part of our effort at nation building. So understand, maayos yung eroplano nyo, yung sound system na lang ninyo may problema. Well, maybe we can attribute that to the weather. But nonetheless, once that I said, it is not only a service that you provide for me and for the First Family and for our guests and our VIP guests, but it is a service that you provide for the country. That is how important a job it is that you do. You enable me and the cabinet members to fly around the country in support of humanitarian and assistance and disaster response missions. This you are doing despite the danger, that disaster that we might meet on land. Through your service, we have been able to assess the surroundings, to be with our people, to help our fellow men and women in the fastest and safest way possible. They'll figure it out. Like the journey of our nation, there will be times of turbulence, moments when the path seems uncertain and the horizon is not clear. Through it all, we put our trust in you and in each other to reliably weather any storm like this one that we are weathering now. Very good. These are the glitches that all of you have to deal with every day. And that is why your job and your professionalism and your skill and the depth of your training will show through at any time, even in the large crises and the little problems that we face once in a while. So it is no small responsibility. It is not one that goes unnoticed. Let me extend my sincerest congratulations to our unit and individual awardees. May your excellence continue to shine as an exemplar for others to emulate. So as we celebrate today your achievements, I ask all of you to reflect not just on what you have accomplished, but on what lies ahead. It is not enough for us to rest on the laurels of the past. We must look inward, examine our strengths, our weaknesses, and commit ourselves to continuous improvement. Let us be reminded that it is not just our work that defines us, but also the depth of our commitment, the strength of our character, and the nobility of our cause. Indeed, you, our men and women in uniform in the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing, carry not just the presidency, but the hope of every Filipino in Bagong Pilipinas. Rest assured, this administration is resolute to see that your health and well-being and wellness are attended to so that you can continue to carry out your duties properly. Let us continue to rise higher, reach further, dream bigger. Let us ensure that the legacy that you have built is not just remembered, but carried forward with pride and with purpose. Mabuhay ang 250th Presidential Airlift Wing. Mabuhay ang ating sandatahang lakas. Mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Malacañang announced the suspension of government work in the National Capital Region or NCR on Monday due to bad weather caused by Tropical Storm Enteng. The work suspension is effective 8:30 in the morning, the Office of the Executive Secretary said in a statement. The palace earlier suspended classes at all levels in Metro Manila, also due to the heavy rains caused by Enteng, the country's fifth tropical cyclone for this year. Several areas in Luzon, including Metro Manila, are now under Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal or TCWS number 2 as of 8 in the morning. Enteng packing maximum sustained winds of 75 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 90 kilometers per hour was last tracked over the coastal waters of Vincennes in Camarines Norte Province. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA meanwhile suspended the number coding scheme in the region. Meanwhile, as of 9:10 in the morning, the water level at the Marikina River is now at 16.8 meters or second alarm following torrential rain since Sunday evening. Marikina City was one of the hardest hit cities during the onslaught of Super Typhoon Karina last July 24th, causing the river to swell and eventually flooding several villages.
Dateline Malacañang.
The United States again declared its support to the Philippines following the latest incident in the West Philippine Sea or WPS, wherein a Philippine Coast Guard or PCG vessel was rammed 3 times by a Chinese ship in Escoda Shoal, which is within the country's exclusive economic zone or EEZ. In a statement released by U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller, the United States condemned the rather aggressive steps of China that led to the damage of a Philippine vessel and put its crew in danger. The United States called on China to abide its action with international laws and at the same time stop its dangerous and destabilizing actions in the region. The United States again assured that the 1951 U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty covers any armed attack to Filipino forces, including Coast Guard vessels, and where it may be in the waters of the South China Sea. The Philippine government, meanwhile, assured to continue its operations in the area despite China's pressures. Earlier, U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines, Mary Kay Carlson, in a post on X, said, "The United States condemned China's action in the West Philippine Sea, wherein it deliberately collided with the Philippine vessel BRP Teresa Magbanwa." According to Carlson, the United States condemns the dangerous violation of China on international law when it rammed a Philippine vessel that is undergoing legal operations in the country's EEZ. PCG spokesperson for West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela, in a press briefing said, "The deliberate collision of a China Coast Guard or CCG vessel on BRP Teresa Magbanwa was done even though there were no provocations from their ranks. The ship is in the area conducting regular operations within the country's EEZ. BRP Teresa Magbanwa sustained damage due to multiple collisions by the CCG along with surrounding the Philippine vessel with several Chinese maritime militia and the People's Liberation Army Navy. The incident was reported to the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, which is currently studying the proper diplomatic response to the incident. To recall, last April, the Philippines deployed the 97-meter multi-role response vessel BRP Teresa Magbanwa, the largest ship of the PCG and the most expensive, into the waters of Escoda Shoal, which is part of the West Philippine Sea.
Dateline Malacañang.
In a related story, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Saturday maintained his stance to pursue peaceful resolution of disputes in the contested waters, including the West Philippine Sea or WPS, despite China's latest aggression in Escoda Shoal. In a statement, the National Maritime Council or NMC said, "The Philippines will fully utilize and continue to pursue diplomatic channels and mechanisms under the rules-based international order and pursue the peaceful resolution of disputes." The NMC, nevertheless, assured the public that the Philippines will not succumb to acts of harassment and aggressive behavior. It said the Philippines would continue upholding its sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in the WPS. The NMC said China's latest actions are uncalled for as the Philippine vessel was engaged in a peaceful and lawful patrol within its own maritime jurisdiction. House of Representatives Speaker Martin Romualdez, meanwhile, backed the commitment to peace but urged stronger measures to protect the country and its sovereignty. In a news release, Romualdez said, "It is about time that stronger measures must be considered." He also urged all Filipinos to stand for the country, its future, and sovereignty. At the same time, Romualdez appealed to the international community to hold China accountable for its actions, urging the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA to escalate the issue to the highest levels of global diplomacy.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. granted Romblon Electric Cooperative Incorporated or Romelco a 25-year franchise to establish power supply in 3 island municipalities of the province. The President signed Republic Act or RA 12020 on August 29th, granting Romelco a 25-year franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, own, manage, and maintain distribution systems for the conveyance of electric power to end users in the municipalities of Banton, Corcuera, and Concepcion in the province of Romblon. Under the new law, Romelco is mandated to supply electricity to consumers in the least costly manner. The chief executive also issued 2 proclamations creating and designating a building on a parcel of land in Mandurriao, Iloilo City as a Special Economic Zone or SEZ and expanding the Lima Technology Center Special Economic Zone in Malvar, Batangas Province. According to the Presidential Communications Office or PCO, Proclamation number 668 and 670 were issued by the President on August 27th upon the recommendation of the Board of Directors of the Philippine Economic Zone Authority or PEZA. Proclamation number 668 creates and designates a building and the parcels of land where it stands as an information technology center in Iloilo City in the island of Panay. The building designated is to be known as the Grid. Meanwhile, Proclamation number 670 designates several parcels of land as an inclusion to the existing Lima Technology Center Special Economic Zone in Malvar, Batangas. According to PEZA, of 419 economic zones in the country, a total of 297 are information technology parks or centers. PEZA promotes the establishment of economic zones in the Philippines for foreign investments.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the 22 Filipino seafarers on board MT Sa Union that was saved by a European Union naval mission after a dangerous missile attack perpetrated by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea have arrived in the country. The seafarers came in 3 batches on board Emirate Flights EK332, TG624, and WY843. Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA, Department of Migrant Workers or DMW, and Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD, led by DMW Secretary Hans Leo Magpayo, welcomed the overseas Filipino workers or OFWs and provided the necessary help. Besides financial assistance, OWA also provided food and transportation assistance and hotel accommodations.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines Department of Health or DOH on Sunday confirmed 3 new cases of Mpox, which brings the total number of active cases in the country to 8. According to the DOH, case number 15 is a 29-year-old male from the National Capital Region or NCR that started manifesting symptoms last August 21st, including rashes and swollen lymph nodes. The patient is currently undergoing home isolation. Case number 16, meanwhile, is a 34-year-old male, also from the NCR, that experienced rashes last August 27th and is also undergoing home isolation. The third case, or case number 17, is a 29-year-old male from Calabar Zone that showed the same symptoms last August 19th and is in home isolation. All of the new cases were reported to have no travel history in the past weeks, but have recent sexual contacts, which is the main reason of the spread of Mpox. The milder variant of Mpox, Clade 2, continues to be detected from the new cases. Since July 2022, the Philippines has recorded a total of 17 cases of Mpox, wherein 9 are already cured. The DOH reminds the public to refrain from intimate contact or sexual contact, especially with multiple partners, to prevent the spread of the virus. According to the Health Department, to practice washing of hands using soap and water that will help prevent contracting Mpox.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.